It's your boy Big Ghost Rider here, man. Legal Wars Live, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? You are now riding with Big Ghost Rider. Man, where you gonna go at on YouTube? Where you have a YouTuber who's gonna bring you the type of content that I'm gonna bring you on a regular basis. You see what I'm saying? Who will do it from anywhere in America. You know? All these YouTubers y'all see streaming, bro, they streaming from a studio. I haven't seen one. I'm talking about the political YouTubers. I hadn't seen any other political YouTubers. I apologize about that, guys. I hadn't seen any other political YouTubers doing streams like I have. You know what I'm saying? The outdoor streams. And now here in the car, you know, just authentic. That's one thing that I strive to do, is to be authentic. In the process of being authentic, the other day, somebody had said, why don't use green screen or AI, man? I don't think that's necessary at all. You know what I'm saying? Green screen or artificial intelligence, I don't think that will authentically, you know what I'm saying, relay the message that I'm trying to relay. I know you could use a green screen and still be truthful with what you're saying and what you're doing and how you walking and how you talking, man. But everything I do, man, I try to be authentic. You know what I'm saying? I never want to use no green screen. If I work for legacy media, yeah. Because I think legacy media using green screen stuff like that is authentic. That's what I believe. But me personally using a green screen, nah, man. Never do not the such, man. We just gonna stay right here riding with Ghost Rider, man, and I'm gonna deliver y'all all this great content. So if you guys decided to join me for this stream, I thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we are now riding with Ghost Rider, guys. We're gonna take a few seconds, allow the algorithm to catch up, and then we're gonna get to cooking. Good morning, guys. As y'all come into the stream, I ask that y'all like the video. Kathy, good morning. Not much, you know what I'm saying? Just finna deliver some content talking about migration, President Trump, the American immigration policy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get started with the content just a second. You guys, y'all gonna hang out with me, or as y'all come into the stream, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Katie, baby, if you on a cell phone, all you got to do is double tap your screen to show your boys some love. And good morning, guys. Good morning. Somebody talking about scamming. Look, man, I think it was my mama yesterday I was talking to, and we was talking about that, how scamming is very popular in the world. There's a lot of people involved in scamming. What I have to say about that, I think in the age of AI, it's going to get worse. I think as the economies of the world differ, I think it's going to be worse. Scamming is just a modern day way that criminals or convicts get money. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think what I'm trying to say is the more opportunities that you provide for people, the less scammers you will have. That's what I believe. I believe scamming, like anything else, is just a product of anything to do with crime. I think crime is a product of boredom and not having no money. That's just what I believe. Of course, you have that element of evil. So you do have evil people in the world. I'm not saying that you don't. But I think a lot of crime that we have in America is definitely tied to some sort of economic problem. But good morning, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the content this morning. Y'all keep the comments coming below. If you guys haven't liked the video, I ask that y'all like the video. If you're on a cell phone, you could just double tap your screen, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. You are now riding with Big Ghost Rider. Let's go ahead and jump into the content. Guys, you want to talk about sick and disgusting. We always talk about things that's sick and disgusting. All you got to do is look up the word and you'll understand what I'm talking about. How about a 20-year-old losing her life on Thanksgiving? A 20-year-old. That's sick and disgusting. I mean, that beautiful young soul, man, probably hustling, picking up that full-time duty to make some money. I mean, for Pete's sake, you're talking about a 20-year-old West Virginia National Guardsman paying the ultimate price, and she wasn't in Afghanistan. I want y'all to stop and think about that for a second. She paid the ultimate price, and she wasn't in Iraq. She was in our nation's capital. It's an American soldier, y'all, on Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Y'all salute the military, man. Real talk. Thank y'all for the service, the sacrifice of a few, for the cause of the many. Thank y'all for y'all's service, man. I'm not totally against the National Guard or militaries being used in cities when necessary. But what I want to hear one of y'all say, one of y'all podcasters, legacy media people that's going to make me get up on y'all head top, what I want to hear y'all say, or try to take this opportunity to say that the military isn't trained as police, because people kill police in America all the time too. Don't make me pull the stats. This don't have anything to do with the military not being trained as the police to why that young lady got killed. It has nothing to do with that. Those service members weren't shot because they weren't trained. That's ridiculous. This has absolutely nothing to do with the lack of police training by those soldiers. This had everything to do with the man who had a gripe to pick and found the right opportunity to get off some wicked grievances. That's what I call it, wicked grievances. That's all that was. Wrong place, wrong time. We're going to get to the news story in a second and see what happened, but that's my take on that situation. Y'all pray for our military. It doesn't matter where they're serving at. You know what I'm saying? If they're in Afghanistan, if they're in Iraq, if I'm saying that young lady losing her life, you think to her parents the pain in their heart gonna feel less heavy because she died in Washington, D.C. and not in Baghdad? You think the pain gonna feel less heavy because she died in the nation's capital and not overseas? Nah, man, it still hurt. It hurt just as bad. So y'all pray for our military, man. So guys, I heard Tucker Carlson talking about re-immigration. That's a word we're going to talk about, or should I say remigration, which is different than immigration. So let me not confuse you. It's a different term. You know what I'm saying? You enforce it by enforcing immigration. You enforce it the same way, but it's different. Migration and immigration, okay? So he's talking about remigration. Well, at least let me say that I was watching Anna on the Young Turks and she was doing a story, so I went and watched Tucker in Europe can remigrate, because that's where it's happening at in Europe mainly. because they have indigenous people. I'm saying, who are the indigenous people of the United States? The Indians? You know, those far right people, they into stuff, far right stuff, you know, but so they thing now is remigration. Like, all the Africans in the country need to be sent back to Africa. They don't care if you're an American citizen or not. I'm hearing the guy in Europe giving a speech talking about at all means necessary. So you got hard right factions or fractions, in Europe. And I'm saying they giving speeches saying that I don't care if you your whole life in this country. If you're not native French born, you gotta go. If you come from Africa, you're going back to Africa. If you come from America, you're going back to America. Yeah, that's remigration. It's something stronger than immigration. And it's playing heavy over there in Europe right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just don't see that working in the United States. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if President Trump or the far right, or they getting some kind of advice from somewhere, but that's not going to play in the United States. I mean, they don't have that question in the United States. The question of who are the indigenous people. They don't have that question in the United Kingdom. They know who the indigenous people are. Or in France, or in Germany. But in the United States, we are all immigrants. So that far right European stuff doesn't play in the US. Not that right there, not remigration. We are a nation of immigrants. And our system, I don't believe our system will not work right without immigrants. I think one of the things that makes America great, one of the things is because of the diversity. Not just diversity in the skin color, diversity of cultures, diversity of train of thoughts. It's a melting pot and we make it work. That's what make America great, man. We are a nation of immigrants. And I don't think the system worked right without immigrants. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Also, guys, jump down in the comments. Feel free, guys, to let your guys' voices be heard. Now, guys, check this out. I don't want any of my Democratic friends to get too happy too quick, because you hear me saying that we are a nation of immigrants, okay? Because I do believe in legal immigration. I really do. And I don't have a problem with using the military under certain circumstances. I really don't. And I don't have a problem with closing the border in certain circumstances. But I think President Trump is again using tactics. I think President Trump does that a lot. He uses tactics. All of the aforementioned things being tactics. And I don't think he has formed a real strategy on immigration. I think he's just trying to achieve certain numbers on immigration, meaning he's saying he will deport a certain number of people and keep the people from coming in. And although he might have some success at controlling the border, he has had a lot of success actually. As soon as you leave the White House, President Trump, here comes another 25 million illegals. You don't understand it. I'm talking about every kind of law that you had passed, President Trump, with January 22nd of 2029. If a Democrat take control of the White House, everything you've done to this point is going straight down the trash can. Those are tactics. Even if you're being successful and you're achieving with those tactics, they're just momentary. Even their year, 2 years, 3 years, it's momentary. You got to think about this. He's seeming to not understand the power of the law. And the law, President Trump, when you make it, it outlives your administration. And it's incredibly hard, if not impossible, to get rid of the law that you created. Say like Social Security. How y'all think we have Social Security? Oh yeah, some lawmaker passed a law one day. That's how we got Social Security. What about Obamacare? President Trump, you real familiar with Obamacare, aren't you? President Trump and the Republicans, haven't y'all been trying to repeal Obamacare for years? The better part of a decade, even part of a healthcare fight right now that's pertaining to Obamacare. When you make something a law, bruh, even if you trying to get rid of it, you got lawmakers trying to get rid of it, man, it can be hard. The only way you can guarantee real change on immigration is by changing the law on immigration. And President Trump hasn't even addressed what I think the root cause of the immigration problem is, and that's the vetting of the immigrants. Look, if our system worked better, the system broken, the immigration system broken. President Trump just closing the border. Okay, that helps. I got 0 border crossings. Okay, President Trump said, okay, now another thing we're going to do is we're going to start pulling people. That helps. I'm saying that helps, but that's not solving the problem. The system's still broken. Does that make sense? President Trump, with the border closed right now, the system's still broken. You don't believe me? As soon as you get out the White House, bam, 25 million more. We still having the same argument. It's just the can getting kicked down the road. You know how President Trump, I'm going to get back into the content. President Trump, you know how they remember President Obama for Obamacare, healthcare president. I'm saying they need to remember you as the immigration president. When y'all say President Trump's the immigration president, even if you don't like him, I'm saying since 2015, he come out the gate down the golden elevator saying, I'm going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Am I right or wrong? So I'm saying it seemed like we going to remember him as the immigration president. I'm saying why not be... The only way you're going to get is by getting a law written. You got to get a law written. If I had an immigration plan, a strategy, you know, like a 20-point peace plan or however you want to write up the plan or the bill, my first point would be to get more immigration judges, because I think that's the key to making the system run efficiently. It's immigration judges. Guys, it's all about the system, okay? If we had a correct system of vetting, that's going to be, I think, problem number 2 is the vetting. And I could say, okay, rest in peace to the soldiers who died. President Biden's administration, what was it? Regardless of what your immigration policy is, vetting should be first and foremost. I think it's a matter of national security just to allow people to freely come into your country. I'm talking about millions of people. You don't know where they're at. I'm saying, I think that's you could end up getting invaded like that. You're going to let 1 million people, that could be 1 million soldiers. You don't even know who they are really. And once you they get in the country, you don't know where they at. So I think even with if you had a president, see, that's why it's important to make this law. Because this law, President Trump, is going to outlive your pen, whether it's a ghost pen or it's your real pen. A law is going to outlive your pen. Listen, if President Obama, I mean, President Biden was the president. So say the next president come after him, Governor Newsom, and say Governor Newsom, he going to get back at President Trump and the Republicans, and he going to open up the gates. I'm saying if y'all had a system of vetting, it don't matter who you let come over the border, you should be able to track that person. You should have some kind of system where you vetting. If your system ran smoothly, man, it's just like if I want to go get an ice cream, man, McDonald's right across the street. I know McDonald's has a system of serving ice cream. McDonald's has a system of serving hamburgers. They have a system, and their system runs efficiently. So there's no problems. You never would get. That's our system don't run efficiently. That's the problem. That's why people sneaking across the border. If you gave them incentives, or however you got to do it to get in here legally, and I know one of the top ways you get the system to run is you need more judges, you need more enforcement, you need more people on the bench. Can you even get an emergency hearing in immigration court in America? How long is taking you to get in and out of immigration court? Because you don't have the judges to preside over. So I think that's number one, man. You need more judges. More judges probably going to take more funding. And I ain't researched this, but more funding means an act of Congress. That's why it's just better to go get you a law, man. Go get you a law road. But immigration judges will make the system run more efficiently. It's like President Trump has given up on hope that the system will run efficiently and just decided to throw a whole bunch of tactics at the problem, which is giving him short-term solutions. I can't lie. But my argument is that even if he has zero border crossings, the system is still broken. Another huge problem I would address immediately, like I said, is the vetting process. I think it needs reform. If I was trying to allow people to migrate to this country legally, I would have a complete and separate, almost separate branch of government to do that. I'm dead serious. I would seriously reform the way we vet legals or illegals or whoever who steps a foot into this country. I would get them their own organization within the Homeland Security and access to all the FBI tools, everybody's tools. I'm talking about I would take them serious. I would have thousands of them. I'm talking about a whole new branch organ. I'm talking thousands of them. President Trump, you cutting jobs over here throughout the government, but you care about immigration. You love immigration. Okay, here we go. Ghost. We got a whole new vetting system within the part. This is called the vetting squad. Within, I'm just being facetious. I gave it zero thought, but within the Department of Homeland Security now we got the vetting squad, and over here we got like 10,000 agents on the vetting thing. We done created a whole new group to vet. That's the whole problem. The system, you can't get nobody vetted properly and correctly. You don't feel safe with it. There's no safeness with it. You don't have enough judges to rule. So that way, and President Trump, because of that, it's like his hands tied. And so he want to just snatch somebody and throw, because it's not working. The other system's broken. That's why you need laws. You need bipartisan immigration reform. When President Bush, this is how far it goes back. President Bush, bro, was trying to get bipartisan immigration reform. I believe President Clinton was. We know President Obama was, and we saw what happened with President Biden. President Trump, the only president, I don't think he was trying to get no laws passed. It's like he had a plan to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. And then on the other hand, what he was going to do is he was just going to be trying to pick people out, deport people from the country. But I'm saying he never said that, hey, we need more immigration judges and we need a stronger vetting system. We need a stronger and better, more robust system of vetting people, not the system we have currently. I'm saying you can get as creative. I mean, these lawmakers are so creative. It's hundreds of them. President Trump is creative. He got creative people around him. America's full of creative people with the ideas to get this done now. But you're going to need a law. Bottom line, I know it's hard to get laws passed in America. It's almost impossible, but that's just what has to be done. Angelo, good morning, Angelo. Titan, good morning, Titan. Happy Saturday. Brandy, good morning, Brandy. Happy Saturday. If y'all have not liked the video, double tap the screen for me, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, guys. Seriously. I will reform the way we vet illegals. I will get them their own organization with Homeland Security. I will house them about 14 locations strategically across the United States. And the 9-to-5 job description of thousands of this new branch of Homeland Security will only be vetting potential people who want to enter the United States. President Trump, to me, you should have thought about this before. If you were going to deport people and you want to go into deporting more people that were here or whatever's going on to make sure that America's safe and people are here safe. You know what I'm saying? Change and reform. Rethink and rebuild the vetting process. I promise if you want to allow more people to come in and be comfortable about America's immigration, or even want to monitor the ones that you have already allowed in. We need to reform the way we are allowing people to come into our country. And the best way to get there, in my opinion, is to fix the system and finally pass comprehensive immigration reform. I mean, we need to get a law passed. We need one signed. And President Trump has been going at this, trying to handle this problem without having a law signed. And I think because he's not, listen, President Trump always identifies a problem. I heard Bernie Sanders say something where he was dead right. He said he believes the reason why President Trump won is President Trump said, hey, I want to make America great again. America got a bunch of problems. The Democrats, it's like they refuse to even admit that America had a problem. So President Trump is on the right track. The thing is, I just think that the way he goes about handling it, look, he knows we got to fix immigration. The Democrats should know that too. So what President Trump also knows that the system is broken. He know that, hey, man, so I know if I go to Congress, I'm going to have this problem. If I go do this, I'm going to have, somebody with the donation starting already early this morning. Thank you, man. If you guys want to donate to the channel, hit the button with the $sign in it, and your donations are much appreciated. President Trump, he also knows, well, man, so if I go to Congress, man, I ain't going to be able to get nothing through. Man, so he done seen the struggles of President Obama and President Biden, his own struggles at trying to get laws. The gridlock in America, he knows how hard it is. So yeah, I don't disagree, President. You close the border. Okay, I'm starting to snatch people off. Now, when you're starting to snatch people, President Trump, I got a little disagreement with you on the snatch. The ICE agents with masks, I'm not sure about. I heard of ICE agents in Chicago shooting unarmed civilians. To me, that is just like absurd. Some of the rhetoric and some of the victorol, we need to bring that down. That's a problem I do have with you, President Trump. Bring it down. If the Democrats want to say that, hey, you shouldn't be pulling this person from the country because this person is here illegally, then, hey, they'll have to get you in court. Y'all remember the Garcia dude? If I'm not mistaken, the Abreu Garcia, Abreu Garcia, whatever. If I'm not mistaken, the dude is set to be deported. If he ain't been deported or gonna be deported, you see what I'm saying? The judges, the courts, everything will go in your favor, President Trump, even with the immigration now, if you do it the way it's supposed to be done. But that's a whole nother conversation. That's not what we're talking about. But before we get into it, another thing I want to say, President Trump, I think you wouldn't have to be as aggressive with your immigration if you had immigration law passed. If you had an immigration law passed, President Trump, then you know that the governors would know about this law and it would be the law of the land. They wouldn't have no choice but to follow it. The mayors would know about the new law. Just like the big, beautiful bill. You know how we know about the big, beautiful bill? Y'all, when a law coming down the pipeline, a new federal law, especially if it's related, the DOJ, they letting all the law, this the law now. So the governors and the cities, everybody will have to follow it if you make a law instead of an executive order, President Trump. That's why they telling the troops to not listen to you. It's because the way you going about doing it, ain't nobody said not to listen to you on the tariffs or not to listen to you on the taxes. They ain't tell the IRS to disobey your orders. You see what I'm saying? Because y'all operating off of hard down strict laws with this business, but with the business of the sending the troops and ICE and going and putting your toe across the line or putting your toe on the law, or we don't know what's right or what's wrong, or we don't know what's going on. It's just a little confusing, President Trump. I don't think you will have to do none of that if you pass the law. Because if you don't pass the law, regardless of how many successes you have on immigration, as soon as you leave, just like last time now, your first term, so you know Ghost know what he's talking about. Gavin Newsom gonna come in, he gonna open up the gates again. And everything you did and the Republicans stand on, and I'm saying the biggest thing for Ghost is about America. We trying to fix America. Isn't this about America? So if we want to fix America, we want this to outlast President Trump's presidency, because his presidency is time-stamped. But us allowing immigrants in and out of our country is not time-stamped. We're going to be dealing with that. We need a law passed. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen. If you're on a cell phone, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Thanksgiving is over, but happy Thanksgiving, my beautiful people. We still have so much to be thankful for as we get ready to go into the Christmas season. I want to let you guys know also, everyone in this stream is welcome. I just ask, please, guys, I see y'all down in the comments. Please be respectful to others. I welcome you guys, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. Jump down in the comment section and let your voices be heard. Y'all, let's get the conversation started on this Saturday morning, early on this Saturday morning, Ron with Ghost Rider. One last thing, we do have to pay the bills. I don't have any sponsors. I'm not taking no money from no party, just you guys. Super chat, super thanks, super stickers. They start at 99 cents. If you want to donate to the channel, start a conversation, have your comment read immediately. Just hit the button with the $sign in it, and your donations are much appreciated. So I got an assorted group of news stories. I am going to get down there in the comments with y'all in just a second. Unless you want to donate to the channel, we can stop and get to it. But I got a various group of news stories. But so NBC News, it was published yesterday, November 28th. So if you guys don't know, one National Guard member has passed away, rest in peace, and another is in critical condition after a targeted shooting near the White House in Washington, D.C. yesterday that's being investigated as a terrorist attack, as it should. I'm saying I'm from a generation where they used to play games with the word terrorist. I remember those days, okay? We're going to call it what it is, man. If you don't call that a terrorist attack, what is a terrorist attack? So Sarah Beckstrom, 20 years old, whose death the president announced tonight, yes, last night, and Andrew Wolf, 24, are from the West Virginia National Guard. Okay? So the suspect's name, I can't even pronounce his name. I'm not even trying to pronounce his name. His name is irrelevant to me. Okay. And I hate to be like that. And, I know y'all have professional rules of decorum or whatever in journalism. I'm not a journalist. Okay. I'm a litigator. This channel's not even a business. So no, I don't care what the dude's name is. His name is Trash. His name is Put Him to Death. That's what his name is, okay? So he faces 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed, and 1 count of possession of a firearm during a crime of violence. He's a complete piece of trash. The CIA said today that the Afghan national worked with U.S. forces during the war in Afghanistan. Do we see a pattern to this? Do we see a pattern to this? Do we see a pattern of training people how to fight against an enemy? We training bin Laden how to fight against the Soviets or against Russia. And then so many years later, he using them training and skills to attack us. So we done trained this nimwit how to fight in Afghanistan. He fighting with us in Afghanistan. And now he back in America, he attacking us. I'm saying, I don't know about nation building. I don't know if that's our biggest problem. Maybe training foreign nationals to just for a temporary to come fight a war. Do we think, hey, we might be against this dude in 10 years and he gonna be trying to blow us out the water off of what we trained him? You know what I'm saying? I mean, golly. Well, you hear stories, man. That's how you correct problems. That's how you make America great again for real. Is we can't keep hearing about us training somebody. Oh, did we train the 9/11 conspirators? We trained them. We didn't train everybody who didn't attack us. It's like if we stop training people, maybe we'll get attacked less or something. President Donald Trump called the attack an act of terror. That's what it is. In an address last night, and said every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden must be re-examined. And I say re-examine the ones who entered the country under you too, President Trump. All of them. Get you a whole vetting unit. I mean, y'all could keep the way y'all vet people now in place, but I'm saying, you got an old, outdated 1980s immigration system. A lot of things in the American government's outdated, and it needs to be updated. You need new laws. You need new reform. You need new trains of thoughts and ideas of how we can conquer and solve the problems that face us in today's century, not last century. FBI agents will spend Thanksgiving investigating the shooting as a possible act of terrorism, 2 senior U.S. law enforcement officers said. The federal government on Thursday vowed to take a rigorous re-examination of all green card holders. Following the attack on 2 National Guard members alleged by Afghan national. So he looking at the green card holders, President Trump. He going after the people that's here legally. If you got a green card, you here legally. That's legal immigration. But I understand that now. I mean, you said all green card holders or just the green card holders from Afghanistan? I think that's the problem, is the green card holders from Afghanistan. President Trump, if you're talking about all green card holders, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to save the federal government money, and I'm trying to save your administration government, because they will sue you righteously. I'm saying, look, people in Charlotte are already afraid and scared, and we talking about citizens. We heard ICE been grabbing some citizens, some regular citizens. Real live American citizens. ICE done grabbed American citizens. That's facts. So I'm saying, President Trump, you already got some people kind of scared. They kind of on the fence, but you talking about going to get people with green cards. You talking about people who are legally here. Man, they're going to be suing you on repeat, nonstop. I don't think that helps fix the immigration problem. I don't think that's how you fix it. I don't think that's how you fix it. To me, and we're going to get into it in just a second, y'all, I think this was an isolated incident from an isolated country. He come from Afghanistan. Dude probably got PTA. We're going to talk about it in a second, okay? Joseph Edlow, Director of U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services, that's ICE, guys. He was acting at the direction of President Donald Trump. I have directed a full-scale, rigorous re-examination of every green card alien for every country of concern. That's what they calling it, country of concern. Edlow said in a statement, the protection of this country and of the American people remains paramount, and the American people will not bear the cost of the prior administration's reckless resettlement policies. American safety is non-negotiable. Now, man, I be hearing, I got a couple of podcasters, a couple of, YouTubers that are Democrats like Adam Mockler that I watch, on a regular basis. And I know, like, if you hear him, I'm saying, if he read that right there, where, where he's saying the protection of the American people remains paramount. Yeah, that I don't see how he would disagree with that. But the reckless resettlement policies, I think that's where y'all would have some sort of disagreement, Republicans and Democrats. If you guys don't know, I'm an independent. I believe in legal immigration, but I do believe in immigration. I believe immigration is vital to our economy, number one. And number two, as I told you guys before, we're a nation of immigrants. However, as I always said, it's about how you tackle the problem. It's not President Trump is good to recognize we have the problem, but it's also about how you going about tackling the problem. Sometimes going about attempting to solve the problem or tackling the problem, you can create a bigger problem than you already had, okay? So the suspect, 29, he previously worked with the United States government, including the CIA, as a member of a partner force in Kandahar that ended in 2021 following the withdrawal of Afghanistan, according to a CIA spokesman. Okay, so the man accused of the shooting, when he shot 2 National Guard members in D.C., he lived in Bellingham, Washington, with his wife and 5 children. So he's got a wife and he's got 5 children. He's living in Bellingham, Washington, okay? We know he was fighting with the troops in the war in Afghanistan, and after the war ended in 2021, President Biden allowed, at the behest of millions of American soldiers, or thousands, I should say, of American soldiers who fought on the long side with these Afghans. These Afghans were saving their life, Angelo. Some of these Afghans helped save American soldiers' lives. You depending on some of these Afghans. These Afghans are translating. You American soldiers are going into a village, or they got to meet with the Taliban or something like that. They can't speak this language. They dependent on these Afghans to do the right thing and to be loyal and everything else, not to be throwing in the wrong words and stuff when translating. They telling them the terrain and the customs, and they going into the black market and get meetings with other. That's what I'm saying. I personally know soldiers who were mad at President Biden and President Biden's administration for not letting more Afghans come into America after that situation, after it fell out. I know a bunch of them. So, I mean, we got to stay focused and on point, and we got to realize that this isolated incident now, we can't, you know what I'm saying? Let's stay on point now. Janine Pirro, The United States Attorney for the District of Columbia said the 29-year-old Afghan national entered the United States under President Joe Biden's Operator Allies Welcome. We're working very closely with our federal partners to review his immigration history and the vetting process itself. We just need a whole new different organization to do nothing but vetting. That's what we need. You say, man, I'm against bureaucracy, and you create a big organization and they just sitting there and all they doing is vetting people. Give them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 jobs to do. That's what the Secret Service do. Y'all think the Secret Service, all they do is protect the president? They do a lot more than protecting the president. If you got agents sitting around all the time, you got to be creative, man. You got to have these management. It's a lot going on in this, man. It's a whole lot going on. But as the president, you just basically a manager. You just a big manager. So when you see these problems, to make it look, you can deal with these problems, but you just got to be quick to address them and to have the people to move in the place who could correctly modify or adjust the situation. So where at least on the surface, it don't even look like a problem to the American people, but we still know under the surface, we got some more fixing to do. But that's all management is. You got to be able to quickly to these situations. And so we know that vetting is a huge problem now because President Trump want to go back and look at all these people, not just President Biden letting in. That's what I'm saying. You can't play politics in these situations. Americans will get hurt. We don't want to play politics. We want to fix the problem. Okay. The 2 National Guard members who were shot in D.C. yesterday were ambushed in a brazen targeted attack by a man who drove across the country from Washington State with the purpose of carrying out this attack. And that's what Janine Pirro said at the news conference this morning. So the soldiers, Sarah Beckstrom and Andrew Wolf, were attacked at about 2:15 p.m. near 17th Street and 1 Street or I Street in the northwest section of the city. A gunman with the revolver opened fire without provocation. So look, as soon as the troops died, not just the Republicans, the Democrats too. As soon as the troops died, I'm saying the Democrats were quick to call out and say, that's why we shouldn't have any troops in the city because they don't have any police training. This don't have anything to do with that. This don't have nothing to do with a troop not having police training. I got a gun and I'm looking for some fool to kill forgive me. I'm looking for somebody to kill and I got a gun. And so he just walked up to him and just started shooting without provocation. Police officers get shot all the time in ways just like this, or ways more creative than this even. So saying that because they didn't have no police training, this has nothing to do why these soldiers got killed. One guardsman is struck, goes down, and then the shooter leans over and strikes the guardsman again. Another guardsman is struck several times. Fellow of their friends, their guardsmen responded and subdued the shooter. The suspect remains hospitalized after being shot and is under heavy guard. This is what I want to say. For all y'all nimwits who are saying that it's because these guardsmen didn't have police training, let me ask you this question. What if this happened with the police? What if several police officers watched someone kill their own fellow officers? What you think would have happened to that person? That person would be DOA, dead on arrival. Almost guaranteed. If a police officer even responding to someone and they know it's a 211 or you a cop killer, they finna come through. We all know that blazing. They gonna try to drop you. So I'm saying the soldiers, they witnessed this dude kill their fellow soldiers and they just subdued them and arrested them. I mean, they don't have nothing to do with these guardsmen Don't play politics or try to insert politics in this. It has absolutely nothing to do with them not being trained as police officers. Nothing. This is not the first time an Afghan national, and it's not, who came into the United States after the supporting the United States in a mission, and Afghan has faced questions about terrorism. It's not. I mean, it's just probably easy. I mean, listen, if if you was say if you was a national, say so you could understand it better. Say if you migrated to China or whatever like that, so you are American national is in China, and say you in China, but you're and America's over in Asia and they're fighting some kind of war. I'm saying you might take the side of your foreign country, but you say, Ghost, that don't make no sense because he was embedded with the American troops and he fought with the American troops. But I'm saying that's why the vetting is so important, because when he come back to America, who's watching him while he's in Washington? He not embedded with nobody in Washington. To see if you had an organization of vetting, maybe that's what they do. Maybe that's another thing they could do is keep up with the people after they get back to America, especially an Afghan national. Especially him, these type, right? Especially because we know about the one in Texas back in the day. Y'all remember him? So I mean, we've had a problem with these Afghans coming from overseas, you know, not trying to target or diminish anything. You just want to stay safe. Last year, NBC broke the story of Nasar Ahmad Tawhid was arrested by the FBI after being directed by ISIS, the Afghan group, along with ISIS-K, to conduct an attack on election day in 2024. So the FBI already knows that they're looking to recruit these types. If you are ISIS, or like I said, if you are American, if you're trying to recruit people to attack China and you're an American spy source, or you're the CIA, or you're whatever, I'm saying you're going to recruit other Americans, right? So I'm saying any kind of, you know, that all the terrorists come from or a lot of terrorists come from Afghanistan or that part of the world. So in that part of the world where all the terrorist breeding grounds and stuff is, you know that they're looking to recruit. They're recruiting Americans too. They're going to recruit anybody to come join ISIS or come join the terror network. They're going to recruit anybody. But I'm saying, why wouldn't they recruit the Afghans? That would seem like it would be natural for them to. And then the Afghans who felt bad about turning on their country, I mean, this is an opportunity for them to. So this is definitely something to watch. The FBI Joint Task Force was able to detect the plot and make an arrest. So the dude Tawhidi worked for the CIA as a security guard. Man, golly. No, he worked for the CIA as a security guard. That's crazy, bro. All these people that have been trained or that work for the American government. I'm saying, like, it's like America's so strong, or America's so this, or America's so that you ain't got to worry about people attacking you. That's not what we worried about. We worried about training people that come back and attack us later. We training them to attack us. The concern law enforcement officials have this morning is that even if some of these officials received a deep vetting prior to arriving in the U.S., over time, a very small group could have become disillusioned with American culture. Yeah, I want to go back home. Oh, I beg to come to America, but I get to America and I don't like America. The great wicked man, I want to go back home. Yeah, they come to America and it wasn't what you thought it was. So now he want to go back to Afghanistan, or he done found something wrong with America. Now he over there on the phone with the Taliban wanting to do something crazy to America. They've become susceptible to radicalization, two senior U.S. law enforcement officials said. The Afghan national accused of opening fire on two National Guard members near the White House worked with a CIA-backed military unit during the war in Afghanistan, the Central Intelligence Agency said. In the wake of the disastrous Biden withdrawal from Afghanistan, the Biden administration justified bringing the alleged shooter to the United States in September 2021 due to his prior work with the U.S. government, including CIA as a member of the partner force in Kandahar, which ended shortly following the chaotic evacuation, Director John Ratcliffe said in a statement. This individual and so many others should have never been allowed to come here. Our citizens and service members deserve far better than to endure the ongoing fallout from the Biden administration's catastrophic failures. God bless our brave troops, Ratcliffe said. A CIA spokesperson said that the suspect previously worked with the USG, the U.S. government, including CIA, as a member of the Partner First Force in Kandahar. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit the notification bell. I'm going to try to jump down here and get a couple of comments. Guys, y'all stay active in those comments down below, man. You know what I'm saying? Republicans, independents, and Democrats. It don't matter. Y'all jump down there and let y'all voices be heard. And also, guys, I do want to let y'all know, guys, if y'all want to donate to the channel, super chat, super thanks, super stickers, channel membership start at $2.99. Y'all just hit that button with the $sign in it, and your donations are much appreciated. Sandra says, Ghost, can you help my boyfriend publish his book? Yeah, about the help I could give you, Sandra, probably is a list of publishers, you know what I'm saying, who could work with them. Let's see. Titan says, right, our own government is training these extremists, starting with Osama bin Laden, Titan, and that is so true. That's what I just said, Titan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it. You know, I mean, if you had one incident or two or maybe three incidents where we had people who were radicalized and came over and killed Americans, you know what I'm saying? If we had just a couple of incidents of that, but I'm saying we've had way too many incidents of people coming from all over the world that we've trained that came back to kill our own citizens. I think that's something that we really should look at. So Dayton says infiltration from within. I'm not sure what you mean by that, sir. If you could break that down a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Somebody says sent 2,000. God bless you. You sent $2,000. Where you said, hey, look, man, the app. You know what I'm saying? They keep crashing. You said you sent 2,000. Where you sent $2,000 at? I'm trying to see where you sent the $2,000. Somebody says a person trained. Let's see. Somebody, am I a writer? Well, like I classify when the classification of writing for myself is like a legal writer, you know. But doing a legal writing, you know, if I could write legal documents, you know how complex and difficult those are to write. You could write almost anything. Same that I was in the chat where someone was talking about President Obama. The host said that Barack Obama, he was one of the worst presidents ever, and Donald Trump was one of the best. Man, it's going to be hard for you to get me to comment on that, but I got to say, the response I have to that is to say that President Trump's chapter is not finished being wrote yet. That you could like that, you could be putting heart emojis on that like that's a good thing, but I'm saying that could be a horrible thing too. It could go either way. But I'm saying that's like trying to compare. Look, you could compare Tom Brady with Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers, he playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers now. You know what I'm saying? But he's still playing football. The Steelers could win a Super Bowl. He could still win 2 Super Bowls, throw a whole bunch of touchdowns. But he's been in the league playing for so long, he kind of close to the end. You could kind of look and gauge and I'm saying, if you want to compare or ask me that question when we get to 2027-ish, the end of 2027, 2020. And then if you want to compare them, I could compare them around that time, the end of 2027 or anytime in 2028. But I'm saying right now, trying to compare him with President Obama, I mean, it's hard to compare. President Trump has achieved some great things. He's done some great things, but he's got a bunch of dark stuff on his record jacket that President Obama don't have. So I'm saying, in my mind, it's going to take more work and effort for President Trump to overcome some of that stuff that he has on his jacket or on his record or on his resume or in his past. It's going to take him some time to overcome that, man. You know what I'm saying? Or it's going to take more good things. He's going to have to do more good to overcome that. I don't know. I'm saying it's just hard for me to give an accurate description right now today. Because President Trump has more time to serve. You know what I'm saying? Sandra says no contest is hands down Tom Brady. I don't know. I believe so too. Them 7 Super Bowl rings, but definitely Aaron Rodgers is an excellent quarterback. Titan Bruce says we don't yet know what the motivation was for that Afghan to shoot the troops, and I agree with that. My guess is that Trump denied his family the opportunity to migrate and his family was killed by the Taliban. That could be a reason. We got to wait and see. But I'm just saying that, like it's the Democrats' fault or just a Democrat. I don't think that adequately describes the situation or the problem until you do the proper investigation. Y'all, let's keep on going. This is the NBC News. About 2,100 National Guard troops were in the national capital when 2 of them were shot yesterday, but a legal challenge over the presence is ongoing and the deployment is marred in controversy. Yeah, the deployment is marred in controversy. I just don't hope any American troops or any American soldiers have to be in the middle or a victim of an argument between President Trump and the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Because the soldiers and these troops, they just following orders. If they sent to a city or they sent here, they don't know. These troops and the military shouldn't be in the back and forth bickering between Republicans and Democrats. That's what I'm saying. The National Guard was sent into Washington in August as part of what Donald Trump calls an ongoing campaign to reduce levels of violent crime in big cities. The 2 soldiers shot yesterday were part of the West Virginia's National Guard. This involved the Guard taking over the running of the local police department, and deployment was extended to February. The followed similar deployments in other cities, most racially diverse Democratic voted urban centers, starting with Los Angeles in June and moving to Memphis, Tennessee, and Portland, Oregon. However, a federal judge ruled last week that the D.C. military takeover was illegal and intruded on local law enforcement's authority. U.S. District Judge Giacca put the order on hold to allow an appeal. With an order like that, y'all know what that's telling me? That's telling me with that order, what was probably more than likely about to end up happening was over a period of time. You know what I'm saying? If she had called it illegal, and she allowing them to appeal, it looked like they were probably going to try to get those troops up out of D.C. before this happened. But since this happened, I'm not sure. I mean, I would think that if people were getting harmed or injured, that there would be a need to keep the troops there. Wouldn't you guys say that? Or maybe because one of the troops got harmed or injured, you could form the argument that maybe it's time for them to go. Who knows? Washington Mayor Muriel Browser welcomed the ruling and said she wanted the troops out of the city. Man, that's not cool. I just don't like that, man. I'm saying these are over our troops. I don't know if I could put our troops, I don't know, because I don't want to have our military disrespected. I don't know if I seen the treatment of my military and my troops. I don't know if I could just keep sending my troops into these democratic cities and they being disrespected like that. Or maybe even killed. That might make me rethink my strategy. You see what I'm saying? The federal government has until December the 11th to appeal the ruling. A U.S.-based nonprofit that helps resettle Afghans who work with U.S. forces during the long American military operation in Afghanistan has warned it shouldn't be used to undermine all Afghans. Afghan EVAC, which works with 250 different groups, said in a statement on X, "We reject and condemn anyone who uses or seeks to use violence, and we stand with every American who is horrified and saddened by this crime." That's why we got to let the investigation finish, because it just could have been a one-off. You know what I'm saying? It could have just been someone with a, somebody stupid just being stupid, but just being stupid. So we got to let the investigation finish. The group then added this individual is isolated and violent acts shouldn't be used as an excuse to define or diminish an entire community. The suspect, who was also shot, has been identified by 4 senior law enforcement sources. And as an Afghan national, I refuse to read his name. A family member was told NBC News that he served alongside U.S. troops in Afghanistan. President Donald Trump called for a re-examination of all Afghan nationals who came to the United States during the Biden administration's hours after an Afghan man was named as a suspect in the shooting of the 2 National Guard members in D.C. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said on X that the suspect came to the United States in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome, a Biden-era program designed to help Afghans who assisted U.S. forces and who were facing a Taliban takeover. We must now re-examine every single alien. Let's see if it's something different in this news story. Effectively, immediately processing of all immigration requests relating to Afghan national is stopped indefinitely, pending further review of security and vetting protocols, the agency known as USCIS said on X. The 2 National Guard members who are from West Virginia were shot by a gunman around 2:15. Authorities have not detailed a motive. That's what's important. That's what we're looking for right now. If one is known, but D.C. Mayor Muriel Browser said that this is a targeted shooting, meaning that the suspect was it was on purpose, and that the suspect appeared to target the guard members. So it looked like he didn't come to shoot police officers. He come to make a statement by killing these guard members. Okay. So one of his relatives on Wednesday said that he arrived in the U.S. September 24th. He served in the Afghan army for 10 years alongside U.S. Special Forces. If I was on CNN, Fox, or MSNBC right now, if they hadn't already done this or doing this right now, I would be looking for a service member that this guy served with. I would be looking for a service member that this guy served with during them 10 years he was in Special Forces. Because if I could get some insights on the guy or to me, that would shed light on his motivations. And to see how the soldiers felt about him. Were they surprised? Oh my goodness, we couldn't believe so-and-so did that because, you know what I'm saying? How did they respond to, the guy doing what he did? So I definitely would be looking, if I was in media or did legacy media, I definitely would be looking for one of the soldiers that he served with in the Afghan army. Because 10 years he served in the army. Basically, he served America for 10 years. He's like a veteran of the United States, too. Because he was helping us in our fight. You know what I'm saying? So he's like a veteran, too, in some kind of ways. So he was stationed at a base in Kandahar for part of that time, the relative said. He came to the United States after the Taliban returned to power in 2021. He eventually settled in Washington State. We were the ones that were targeted by the Taliban in Afghanistan, the relative said. I cannot believe it that he might do this. Okay, I had to make sure I read that carefully. So the relative says that they cannot believe it and they can't believe that he did this. That's what I'm saying. The guy could have had PTSD. It could have been a mental snap. Just like an American soldier could be overseas fighting in the war and come home and have PTSD and have a mental lapse or a mental breakdown. The same thing could happen with the Afghanistan. This dude was fighting right alongside with the special forces. Right along, and he on his home country, and he in a whole foreign country. Imagine coming to this country, having to leave your country, and then you getting here and you in this place. Imagine having to go live in Afghanistan. Ain't nobody speak your language. The customs different. You don't know what his wife and his kids going through. You don't know what's going on. So just out there and to just make decisions, you know what I'm saying, or make comments off of a speculation, I don't think that's wise. Ain't none of us know what's going on until we got the information, or unless the investigators who have been privy to this information. You know what I'm saying? So let's get the information first and find out what's going on. A source familiar with the case, a separate law enforcement source, told NBC News that the suspect was granted asylum this year. He was granted asylum this year. Who administration are granted him asylum? Details of what a re-examination of Afghans already in the United States will look like and who arrived during the Biden administration were not immediately clear Wednesday night. A Trump administration memo on Friday, seen by NBC News on Tuesday, called for a review of all refugees admitted to the United States during the Biden administration, which would be about, guess how many people? 200,000 people. So President Trump has already called for a review of about 200,000 people. How are you going to review 200,000 people's records accurately? Let me tell you what happens when you give the government employees a job to do, or really it ain't got to be government employees. You could give any employee a job to do, and it's that say that you asking them to do too much work. They don't have enough resources, but they have to produce. They're going to cut corners and shave corners. This is the kind of thing you can't cut corners and shave corners with. That's why I'm saying I think if you're going to allow, look, getting a group of people or within Homeland Security that specializes in nothing but vetting, I think that could be useful for what President Trump's trying to do right now and for future immigration situations or problems that we have. Y'all getting that? For future presidential administrations that might allow more people into America. I mean, if you had a vetting process in place, you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, left, right, up, down, backwards, forward, I just come to the same, my conclusion, I come to the same place at the end of this. I'm going to keep saying over and over and over, I think America needs immigration reform. I think it's time for President Trump to go to Mike Johnson and, you know what I'm saying? We can't leave the conversation of affordability. Like we got all this stuff going on in America to where, we talking about Venezuela and we finna go attack Venezuela. And you know what I'm saying? We got this going on over here with the troops now. So immigration is going to be back on the forefront. But through all of this, what I really want you guys to know and never forget is that we must stay focused. We must stay focused on affordability, because affordability is a problem. It's a big problem in America, and we have to address it. And I just don't think we've addressed it good enough, or we've addressed it enough. Some, even the Democrats, will argue that we haven't even addressed it really at all. And I'm saying that's the reason why, like, I know President Trump was supposed to unveil the healthcare plan. I'm saying we done got through Thanksgiving. I know he had Thanksgiving last week. We done got through Thanksgiving, and we at the end of the week, and I'm saying it's no healthcare plan by President Trump or the Republicans have been unveiled. I know the Obamacare subsidies coming up. I know President Trump like, hold up, Ghost, pump your brakes. We're doing a whole lot over here, and I respect that, and I got love for everything President Trump and them are doing. But I'm just saying, like, affordability is a ginormous problem. I think that's the biggest problem in ways to where it's not just a political problem. I think it'll be way more than a political problem for President Trump. I really do. I think it's a problem for Americans. Rent's too high. You know what I'm saying? I noticed that the gas is coming down some. You know the weirdest thing, and I'm sorry, how I'll pull in the campaign move, for any kind of campaign, any kind of politician. You know what I'm saying? I'll say this is what I would be doing on the campaign. I'm going to get to affordability, because I think that's a big problem in America. The thing that confuses me or baffles me is that we're getting so close to the midterm elections, and the American voters are going to voice it. It doesn't matter what happens with immigration to me, almost. It doesn't matter what happened on the border. It doesn't matter what happened with a lot of this stuff. If you go into the grocery store and the grocery store is still looking that high, if you go into the gas station and the gas is just dropped down like this much, even though it is coming down some, it's coming down more. If rent is still expensive, if it's hard to buy a house, I'm just trying to say, man, I think that the Republicans will definitely pay consequences for that. Definitely pay consequences for that in the upcoming midterm elections. And I think President Trump always needs to focus on that. Not only that, you are helping the American people by addressing affordability. People are out here actually struggling, trying to survive, man. Hard to make it. So by addressing affordability, you're not just pandering to a certain segment of the American population. Like, say if MAGA was trying to get him to do something, and he might pander to MAGA. By addressing affordability, President Trump, you're not just pandering to a political cause. You're not just listening to ghostwriter. You might actually be saving someone's life. You actually doing something to help an American, and you actually fulfilling a campaign promise where you promised to address that on day one. So I always want to go back to that affordability thing until it gets properly and adequately addressed, because President Trump is addressing almost everything that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he hasn't touched on affordability, or he's not somewhat discussing affordability. I just don't think that he has properly addressed it yet. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I'm thinking. You said 200,000, that's easy to do, man. If you say so. If it's so easy to do, why you gotta go back and do it again? I'm saying that vetting people is so easy to do. Why are we having to go back and vet people again? And after we vet these group of people, I guarantee you eventually, guess what, y'all? We're going to have to go back and vet people again. Why we keep having to go back and do the same stuff over and over again if it's so easy to do? Guys, I ask that if y'all hadn't liked the video, y'all double tap the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, man. Guys, we've been streaming for about an hour and 20 minutes. It's on a Saturday. You are now riding with Big Ghost Rider, man. I'm gonna let y'all get down in the comments below. Titan Brew, I see you. Oh no, I'm not an attorney, you know what I'm saying? I'm not an attorney, but I am a litigator. I won in the U.S. Court of Appeals. I appreciate that, sir. And yeah, they just let me act. I'm not gonna go out. I don't like work no 9 to 5s, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? I filed lawsuits. I got 2 cities in court right now in federal court. 2 cities. Listen to me, bro. Get the wax out your ears. 2 cities. I'm a civil rights litigator. 2 entire cities, municipalities. Me, Ghost Rider, litigating against 2 cities myself. Yeah. So that's what I do, bro. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no job you could go out there and do to help train, to help a city realize that they need to train people. You know what I'm saying? Train their police officers on helping people with disabilities. So that's my job right now. That's not just a job, that's my mission. I feel like that's a God-given mission because these police departments are out here and they're interacting with the community and they're not even trained in how to handle people with disabilities. So that's more important than a job. Yeah, it is a job. Yeah, I'm doing documents. Yeah, I can make a whole lot of money. But even more important than that is the justice and trying to help save a life. You know what I'm saying? If I could we can make sure that all of our police departments are trained on how to handle people with disabilities. Maybe I could help even save a life. So yeah, that's my job right now. Titan Brew, I appreciate it, baby. If y'all haven't liked the video, y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Y'all now riding with Ghost Rider, man. Give me about a 2-3 minute break and I'll come back and get to cooking with y'all on this beautiful Saturday in New York City. Yeah, my boy, I'm glad you said that because the reason why I'm in the car doing this podcast right now is because I had filed a lawsuit against, you know what I'm saying, the city where I came from. So that's why I'm in the car right now doing the podcast. So you tell me to get a job. I mean, ain't like you could tell me to go work at, ride no forklift or something. You know what I'm saying? Because I done all that. You know, I didn't work, did all of that, you know? It's just now I got to do this work. I got to do this justice work. That's the work that I'm getting called to do now. and take my medicine too, man. I gotta do that. Can't forget that's prescription medicine too for all y'all haters. Let's see. Venezuelans are not a majority in this country. I don't think that's necessary if they're a majority or minority. You know what I'm saying? I think what we're going to talk about Monday is Maduro is a drug dealer. That's what we're going to talk about. That boy is a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? The Venezuelan president is a drug dealer. President Trump ain't making up no scenario about him being the leader of a cartel. Maybe some of that is whatever. But what I'm saying is his wife's, was it that her nephews or whatever? Yeah, they got arrested for selling drugs in America. The president's wife, relatives. Oh man, we in New York or DC, wherever they nabbed them at. Two of them, males selling dope in America, selling drugs. So you know the American government, they start investigating that. This goes beyond President Trump and his administration. They start investigating that. And they found out that the dude selling dope, the Venezuelan president selling drugs, and he using the money to finance his campaign. Dude, you can't, bro, I'm talking about, I don't see how anybody could support Venezuela in this situation. Hold on, man. Let me get somewhere where I can talk about this. I'm glad somebody brought that up. The dude, so the Venezuelan, it ain't like we just guessing. So like we know that China is sending supplies for people to make fentanyl. We know different stuff going on in the world. No one wants to dispute that, but all of us, y'all want to be lawyers for a drug dealing president. Now y'all want to be the drug dealing president lawyer, okay? So look, check this out. So after his wife's family members get caught selling drugs in the United States, think about that. This isn't like us doing the investigation. This is catching them red-handed selling drugs themselves in the United States. You see what I'm saying? You know the government, they going to start, because see, they probably don't know that. They thought they would just get out of jail or get some good lawyers or what have you. They've been watching too many movies. But they don't know what really happens in the legal system is once they get your name, do it. Yeah, you already know doing something. You know they finna look into that. That just as funny as that is to us, that probably was to the agency that busted them. I forgot if it was the DEA or whoever it was. It was just as funny to them. What? The president, the Venezuelan president, his wife's what? Her nephew, her what? They getting arrested. They selling drugs and what? That is just too funny. It's almost unbelievable. It's unreal. I didn't even know the whole story. President Trump and them ain't telling the story. They done caught the dude with his drawers down. Excuse my Latin boys out here butt naked selling drugs. They caught them selling drugs. You see what I'm saying? So like after they catch them or whatever, so you know, like this ain't written down and no, but we know what go on behind the scenes. Ain't no conspiracy theory. We just know the American. Until y'all, if y'all deal with them alphabet boys, they finna try to find out what's going on down there in Venezuela. Then, them boy got his family members selling drugs. This man got the money off of cocaine. Look, this the Venezuelan president. Y'all see him on TV, but he really, the Venezuelan president, I'm trying to tell y'all, on his off time, that boy listening to Tupac, and he got his shirt off, and he in the room with his shirt off. The Venezuelan president with an AR-15 in his hand saying, that cocaine got me everything. Yeah, that's what he's saying. He off of cocaine money that he make it off of Americans. He's doing this off of the expense of Americans. It's Americans he's selling this cocaine to. Yeah, he probably selling the cocaine to Venezuelans too, but they getting the money off Americans primarily. You see what I'm saying? Venezuelans, they rich Americans, yeah, they stupid, they crackheads, they drug heads. This man don't mean us no good, bro. all y'all bleeding heart people trying to protect him, just know that he don't mean us no good. Just understand that, okay? So they already got proof that he's selling drugs. They got hard down proof from back in the day. Now, let's keep going. Let's keep the story going. So they know he's selling drugs. They done figured it out or whatever like that. Figured out that he using money from selling the drugs in America. He using that money to fund campaigns in his country. He trying to maintain power with drug money. But that ain't the end of it. That's just the small of it. Here's the big part that got me. I was hearing President Trump saying about Trinidad or Wagwa, this Venezuela or whatever gang down there, and I was hearing them saying that Venezuela, they opened their prisons up to allow their prisoners to come into the United States. Now, when President Trump saying that, you know, we done heard some eating the cats and dogs stories before from President Trump, and he's saying Venezuela opened their prisons up to allow their prisoners to come into. I'm like, President Trump, come on now. You can't be for real. They ain't doing nothing like that. Those just Venezuelan people who coming into America because they trying to free the repressive regime, right? But then I had to stop and think about it. So, the Venezuelans' president's wife, they got arrested for selling cocaine in America. If I allow, listen, I'm trying to set up a drug dealing network in America. I don't trust an American. Why would I trust an American? Listen, if we were going to China, I said, hey, listen, Angelo, Ratty, we're going to China and we're going to set up a drug dealing network. Why would we trust the Chinese? We can't even speak their language. We already then got arrested in their country. You see what I'm saying? We can't trust them. Why would you trust them? So you know what the president do? He said, while Joe Biden and them was letting all the people into America, he said, hey, I'll just open up the prisons and I'll put our gangs and stuff in there. That way I could say, he didn't let the gang members into America. President Trump ain't telling the story all the way right. He ain't let the drug dealers or the gang members into America to come commit crime like they coming to rape the little girl in your community. That's not what he let he opened the jails for. He opened up the jails to set up his drug dealing network in America. That's what he opened the jails for. Because if he got Venezuelan criminals and I got my Venezuelan drug dealers, I got a network in your country. I done built a drug dealing, a trusted, strong drug dealing network in your country. I could get you bumped off. If y'all snitching and ratting, we could get y'all knocked off. We ain't got to go to no Americans and do nothing besides have one or two and we selling the drugs too. That's all we need. We ain't fooling with none but two Americans. It's nothing but Venezuelans. That's why he opened up the jails. President Trump, when he telling the story, he talk about the mental institutions and all these other people being allowed to come into America like they coming to commit crimes. Yeah, they are committing crimes. They selling drugs. But as far as the Venezuelans jails, their goals was to come into America to set up a drug dealing organization. Narco president. Narco. It's about drugs. You cannot spend $1 trillion, $1 trillion on your military, which is 3 times more than your closest competitor, China. 3 times more. The closest competitor is China. They done bulked up their money. They spend about $300 billion or so on their military. America's spending $1 trillion. And if you put Russia and China together, America spends 2 times more than their biggest 2 rivals combined on their military. GDP, that's facts. America's been spending that money for decades. China just now starting to spend that money. What you spending all that money for your military for? You spending all that money on your military, you cut programs for people? What you doing that for? That don't make no sense. What you spend? What if your husband, who is down here, who is this? Is this Joe? I'm trying to find a female. What if your husband down there and he's spending all the money on guns every paycheck? The most money you spending in the budget is on guns, honey. What you buying all the guns for? And then you start seeing like that example I told y'all the other day. People start breaking in your house and stuff next door, and y'all got all these guns, and your husband over there hiding under the bushes calling the police. But what you spending the money on the guns for? I'm trying to figure out what you spending money on the guns. Why is America listen, why does America have the largest aircraft carrier group in the entire world? Why is America's Navy the world police? America's Navy is the world police. Y'all say America's the world police. America's Navy is the world's police. That's not no guess. That's facts. I thought we all knew that. Who you think controlling the shipping lanes and keeping the shipping lane free so the whole world commerce could continue every day? It's the U.S. Navy. We all know that. Why you got a Navy like that and you ain't what you don't expect to use? So you telling me, and then for all the Christians, the bleeding hearts saying I'm a war hawk or something, all the bleeding hearts and the Christians, let me talk to you like this. So you know this dude selling drugs, he a drug dealer. Imagine if President Trump was a drug dealer and y'all just gonna let President Trump stay in office in America, ain't you? If President Trump was still, y'all trying to get some people want to see the worst harm done to President Trump and over what? Because he won't pass legislation on something you won't pass. We talking about what if he was selling drugs that was killing kids? I don't care if it's only 5 kids in America he killed. He shouldn't be killing one. He a president. He ain't the cartel. That's different if you, like President Trump going after the cartel. Nah, that's a little different. It's the U.S. military. You could let the DEA go after the cartel or something. This is who the narco this makes the most sense, President Trump using the military to strike military boats. It's like a government on government level thing. This is a Venezuelan president. Y'all can't let that slide. Like this is the president is selling drugs. The president of your country is a drug dealer. Your president, like on dictators or something. That's why I'm being facetious. He got an AR-15 shooting it in the air. He got his shirt off, Maduro. His stomach probably fat as mine. Listening to Tupac. He's Spanish. He could barely speak English. Talking about my visions of a drug dealer. He trying to be a gangster, bruh. Your president selling drugs, making money, funding campaigns, and I hadn't even gave y'all the biggest part of the story. Bro, it's a perfect storm for him to go. I'm telling you, Ghost, listen, if you want a brain, I've thought the whole situation out. The Nobel Peace Prize winner, guess where she from? 2025, of all places she could be from, to win a Nobel Peace Prize. Because President Trump, man, he crying, he upset, lip on the floor. He thought he was going to win it, but he didn't win it. You know who won it? It was a Venezuelan. What, Ghost? Hold up, a Venezuelan? What? Oh, it must have been the president's wife that was, her nephews, her cousins was selling drugs, but they prayed and got saved and become born again Christians. And, they reformed and started feeding the people of Venezuela. Ain't that what they started doing? All y'all crying heart, liberal, weak people who want to protect this drug dealer. President, you got a 30 or 25-year-old in your neighborhood selling drugs. I got a balance. I had to learn it the hard way, but I got it. I got a balance. I'm not finna be calling the police on him. That's something totally different. We talking about this dude is a president. How we gonna stop any drug? Listen, if he a president, look, He support every cartel in South America. I could guarantee you that. He doing business probably. He might have an enemy or two. He might have a beef or two with a couple of cartels, but he doing business with, I know how the game go. He in business in bed with all the cartels. He doing that's their business. He get the cocaine. This is a bad dude. Was Gaddafi selling drugs? Was Saddam Hussein selling drugs? Your own direct family members selling dope. And then he gonna have a presidential election and he lost it. That's not even the end of it. We just most of the way through it. Y'all see how I've been talking about it for 15 minutes. He had a presidential election and he lost the election and said, I'm not leaving. So imagine now if President Trump, Big President T, all y'all Democrats who protected Maduro, y'all listen to Ghost, Fox News, all y'all Democrats who protected Maduro. If you say it's okay for him, then this is what Big President T, come here real quick, let Big Ghost holler at you. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go get Don Jr. and going to get Eric Trump, and we're going to go get that cocaine from Venezuela. Nah, we're going to get it from Mexico. We're going to go get that cocaine and we're going to bring it to America and we're going to start banging it because the Democrats said it's okay for Maduro to sell coke in America. So guess what, President Trump? We gonna get them millions and sell that coke in America. And they ain't gonna say nothing to you because they protected Maduro selling cocaine. His own family members. So Don Jr. and Eric, you know what I'm saying? I take us down to Texas, we'll holler at some Mexicans. We gonna get that money doing it. Since the Democrats say it's okay for Maduro to do it, President Trump, then you could do it. And not only that, President Trump, you know how they doing the no kings and all this stuff, President Trump, how they doing that. Then they said Maduro, he could lose an election and stay in power. Then guess what in 2029, President Trump, guess what you finna do? The Democrats. President Trump, the president in 2052. We look at President Trump, he could barely walk. And he's still the president. And so y'all can't say nothing because y'all protected Maduro and he ain't leaving office and he lost. So President Trump could stay in office and lose. You okay with that? Where your moral compass at? Y'all, and then for the ones of y'all, you see how Ghost is a litigator. This is what I do, boy. If I had to litigate this case to President Trump, I'm going to beat everybody in the room. My argument and what I'm saying. And for the ones who want to say, oh, America first, we don't want to spend no money on no foreign wars, then what you got a $1 trillion budget for? Some of y'all Congress people who saying that you don't want to spend $1 trillion on wars, you signed the budget for the $1 trillion budget on the big, beautiful bill. I don't want to call your name, baby, because I'm not going to hate on you like he doing. He hating on you. I'm not going to treat you like that. I'm just being real with you. You signed that big, beautiful bill with a $1 trillion military budget. What you want a $1 trillion military budget? If you don't want to fight no wars, that's insane. You can't argue with this, boy. This is the best of the best. When I sit down and think about it, bro, I'm going to beat you any way you want to come. Y'all can't beat me in no debate on no something I know not all thought about. Like, you know, you spending the money, you spending $1 trillion 3 times more than China. I'm saying if y'all want to put America first and y'all don't want to fight no foreign wars and all this gay stuff you talking about fighting no foreign wars, all that gay stuff you talking about, it's a balance to it. I didn't want President Trump to do nothing in Iran. But he did something, but he didn't put boots on the ground, so that worked. It worked. Iran ain't got a nuke. It worked. So it's going to work with Venezuela, too. I'm going to get to that in a second. It's going to work. Just don't put no troops on the ground. It'll work. President Obama did it to get Gaddafi out. CIA said they want him out of there. Get him gone. If the CIA say and Senator Graham say and Senator Rubio say, I trust that's America, get him gone, President T. Get him out of there. Where I'm wrong at? Insult to injury. So he's still in office and he ain't even supposed to be there. So he an illegitimately elected president. On top of that, he's oppressing his people. He's starving his people. He's stealing the money. So you got President Trump selling drugs, stealing the money, losing elections and not leaving power. I'm saying, what are we talking about? What are you there's no way you could protect them. You can't say have American involvement. All y'all people who do not want America involved in no more foreign wars, then I want to see you sign a paper, a petition that America needs to sell every aircraft carrier it has. Because the world, even China and Russia, China got one aircraft carrier. I don't even know if Russia's is in commission. And I'm saying they got battle groups too, but they battle groups saying, do y'all understand with that aircraft, with that battle group, with that Ford class battle group, the largest aircraft carrier in the world, with hundreds of the most deadly Air Force aircraft. If you don't agree with that, let me say this. How about them? So you can't hate on them submarines. Them submarines got nuclear weapons that'll wipe every country off the face of this planet. That submarine is riding with them aircraft. They got battleships with they got 4,500 sailors and Marines. And you got 7 of them terrorizing the oceans. America terrorizing the oceans. I'm talking about them things be flying too. They could get around the world, deploy anywhere in the world. 30 days, 50,000 Marines at your doorstep. I'm saying, what you got all that for? Because see, what happens is, how JD said, them weak European nations, they be needing help. They need somebody to bail them out. See, President Trump, he started charging them for the service. America was stupid. We just doing it for free and giving them money. President Trump charging them for the services. He charged the crown prince. Y'all shut up. Let them get that money. But this is what I'm saying. What happens when the Europeans on the phone, because how JD said they weak and they crying, they need help because the Somalian pilots keep on stealing the oil. And that's affecting everybody in the world. It's making oil prices in China go up. And they hadn't hit no Chinese ships yet. But China might be able to defend themselves. Iran might not be, but some of these countries, they can't. And it don't matter. These are merchant ships. Whose military is equipped to go deal with that? The U.S. military went and deal with them Somalians. The U.S. Navy went and dealt with that. I'm saying to you got to understand what the U.S. military is. So you saying you want a little boy or you want to punk the American man, it don't make no sense. You got this vast military with all these weapons and the American military has the most training, been involved in more military conflicts than any other military in modern times. So what you got all of that for? And then if it's about the money, I'm saying you spending all the money and you got all the stuff, all the money is tied in it. It don't make no sense. You got all this money. Y'all want to know how much one of them aircraft carriers costs? One F-35, one F-22 Raptor. You want to keep going and you got more of them than anybody in the world. So you spending you ain't giving all the money to Israel. You spending a lot of money on them weapons and you making a lot of money off them weapons, making Boeing and them kind of companies a whole lot of money. Especially during the wars and stuff. Oh, Saudi Arabia is about to spend so-and-so billion on some F-35s. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, just making money. I'm talking about all Israel mad because you selling them the F-35s. We want to be superior in Asia. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, so what you got all this for? I got $1 trillion worth of America got $100,000 worth of guns, but we ain't gonna fight no war because we don't want to waste money. That's the stupidest thing. Listen, I know, MAGA, your argument is pristine and you be killing Democrats a lot of times. You did in this last election. You can't do that to Ghost. Because your argument is that's the stupidest. You can't say you don't want to be involved in no foreign wars and be supporting $1 trillion spending bill and holding that hardware. You know how much, China would love to buy America's 7 aircraft carriers that roam the world. I promise you. Xi Jinping will probably make the best deal ever. What you need the aircraft carriers for if you just worried about money? You just be like Switzerland. Sell the aircraft carriers. You got a whole bunch of money. You know how much money it costs to maintain one of them aircraft carriers? They not only cost that much. You got to maintain it. You got to pay 4,500 sailors and Marines salary. And in America, they ain't getting paid a little bit of money on each one of them. I'm saying, why are you spending all this money like you spending money like you got a Department of War for a reason? That's what you spending money for. You spending money and you got the hardware like the Department of War will regulate what happens in this world. That's what the president did before you. That's what you did before him. That's what the guy you hate on all the time before you did, and he did again. And what President Bush, we know what he did. Well, you know what I'm saying? We know what he did all over the world, showing you this American exceptionalism, this military. He just went too far with it. Some people say, but you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying you go before him, his dad, CIA, and then Ronald Reagan, ain't no coward, ain't no chicken, ain't no nothing in our blood, bruh. This ain't no war hawk. You know what I'm saying? You just got some F-35s. They just gonna go tap them F-35s. Just gonna tap Maduro on the shoulder. Say, hey man, I know I see you out there on TV. You out there looking like the supreme leader in Iran, but I guarantee you come counting less than 21 days. I hate be putting some time on it because it's like President Trump and them sometimes be listening to me and stuff be happening like it's the next day or sometimes immediately after I say it. But Maduro, less than 21 days, we going to come tap you. Them F-35s, they going to come tap you on your shoulder. And them F-35s, this what they gonna say to you, sir. They gonna say, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Because I'm saying we got Miss Maria. Them Europeans, while y'all hating, y'all gave her the Nobel Peace Prize over President Trump. So don't y'all want her to be the leader of Venezuela? And for us Christians who love God, why wouldn't we want to free the Venezuelan people from a drug dealer who oppressing them, who's not legally elected? Why is Jesus supporting Maduro? Is God in support of Maduro? And I'm saying we got the weapons and stuff, and we got the money, and they in our hemisphere, and we want to stop Americans from selling drugs. I'm trying to figure out what's the reason we not finna let these F-35 in the hood. You know what we call that, Big President T? Big P himself? We calling that, you gotta let the killers go eat. You ain't got them F-35s for nothing, boy. Gotta let them killers go eat, boy. This boy playing games. Look, Mr. Maduro, this is what you can do right now, though. You can get on a plane and fly to Moscow, and you can live. I promise you, Mr. Maduro, I will help anybody help scold President Trump. If they kill you and try to stop you from fleeing the country right now, let you go. Mr. Maduro, you could leave. You can't go to Moscow still selling drugs in Venezuela now. That's going to cause them to come over there and tap your skull. You can't do that. But if you want to, like a lot of people have done, get you and your drug dealers and your family and go drug deal in Moscow with Putin. Maybe Putin might let you drug deal over in Moscow. It might be legal to go over there and do it. And you ain't got to worry about no F-35s flying over your house, wondering if tonight's the night. Because I'm saying you thinking big President Trump won't do that, but I'm saying you could get done in a million ways without no American flag being nowhere on close to the drape in your coffin. You could get done in 1,000, a trillion ways, sir. He could get on a plane, y'all, and go to Moscow tonight and live. Him and his family in Moscow happily ever after. You don't like Moscow? You don't like Russia? Maduro look like you would love Russia. They over there selling drugs in Russia. They over there, bro. You know, Asia popping. They got all the, they be taking that Indian man and party. That seem like he a drug. He want to do drugs, so go over to Moscow. That's the devil's kingdom. I'm saying you over here in this hemisphere, though. You feel me? This hemisphere. In this hemisphere, nah, you can't be coming into America making money selling drugs, tax-free money. And the Democrats want us to let them do it. I know y'all, who's supporting them? It might be Republicans supporting them, talking about a sovereign country. America is a sovereign country too. He's selling drugs in our sovereign country. He don't got to pay for that. It's a $50 million bounty on his head. I wish I knew me about 7 Navy SEALs. All I need is 7 of them. 7 Navy SEALs and the fact that the United States gonna pay that $50 million. I could get it financed and everything. It don't cost that much. All you doing is flying into Venezuela. It can't be that hard to go tap that boy on his head for $50 million. That's how I look at that. You talking about protecting a drug dealer? This boy a straight drug dealer. He's selling dope. A president. So we gonna let President Trump sell dope, you Democrats. If y'all hating on him for that, oh, he's a sovereign nation. I ain't hating. I love y'all Democrats. I'll be riding with y'all, but come on, man, let the man cook. Y'all weren't doing that when President Trump was going to get Gaddafi because the CIA be knowing what them dudes doing. They don't come out. The CIA don't talk. They don't do press conferences, but they know all the secrets. They know, and they talk to President Trump, and President Trump talking. So what you think they telling President Trump? Ghost just a smart dude. I could put 2 and 2 together on the fly. I don't need nobody to do it for me. The CIA talking to President Trump and President Trump mouth talking. And nobody from the CIA talking, but President Trump mouth talking. And the CIA talking to him. So what you think his mouth talking? What they talking? That's what his mouth talking. Boy, Maduro, you could go to Russia right now today and live. You could go, you and Putin could join arms and do the Argentina-Russian quilt dance. We're going to make up an Argentina-Russian quilt dance. We drug dealers. Argentina-Russian style. Yeah, Argentinas and the Russians together, they probably have some beautiful babies, though. Ooh. You feel me? Some pretty kids. But as far as selling drugs Argentina, Venezuela, as far as selling drugs in Venezuela, sir, no, sir. Your days is numbered. You know in the Bible where it said, you seen the man, he seen that handwriting, that hand just come on the wall. This real life, though. This a real life situation. Maduro, he was in the palace one night. He seen a man's hand come on the wall. And it wrote, Mini, Tique, you faso. And he like, that ain't Spanish, that ain't English, I don't know what that is. That's Hebrew, baby. What's them words say? That man knees start knocking. He done wet himself. Maduro done peed himself. He done went outside and he seen that Ford class. Y'all ever seen an aircraft carrier, bro? You look at that aircraft carrier, you gonna be looking at that thing like this. It's a boat. They say he could fly 200 sorties off of this one aircraft carrier. He could hit you 200 times a day off of one aircraft carrier. He shoot missiles in your country. You know you can't out. Venezuela, bro, this man finna get some brownie points off you. He gonna make them stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein off of you. He finna shine off of you. And when they notice that he's shining off of you, they probably gonna be complaining about that, but not Ghost, cause you an enemy of my God. I'm saying you drug dealing and you doing that, that's between you and God. I ain't no rat. I ain't no master splinter. I ain't no snitch. I ain't finna go tell on nobody in my neighborhood that's doing something he shouldn't. I just would talk to him about selling drugs in my neighborhood. If I know he was selling drugs in my neighborhood, I wouldn't tell on him. I'd go give him one of these. Go give him one of these. I tell him about Jesus. But Maduro is a different story. He's a head of a nation. If he leading a nation, if we want to stop any drugs from coming from Venezuela, we don't have a chance. Because he's a head of the whole nation. You get that? At least in Mexico or Canada, or we got member partner presidents to where, you know, you could get the FBI. They'll work with. You can't work with. Who you going to work with over there? They all... And he influencing other nations around him, weaker nations. He a bully. He oppressing his people. He's starving his people. Yeah. So, y'all, I'm sorry of going on that long about that. I'm passionate. I done thought that out. I done researched that. I got a whole live stream about that. Because it's getting about that time, Maduro. The Air Force want to come play with you, Maduro. They want to just see what's going on in Venezuela, man. We waiting on you, big President T. All you got to do is just nod your head, and we going to get to the business. All the Democrats, we going to come get them after we finish. We'll come get them. President Trump, don't worry about the Democrats. I'll talk to them. Don't worry about it. I got them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know Kaylin Collins personally. I don't know Abby and them. I don't know Jasmine, but in AOC and them, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, them kind of peoples, they know our Ghost, you know, that got mad love for him. Ghost got mad love for him. You know what I'm saying? I come from my peoples, man. I got him, big President T. Maduro, he got to get up out of there. It ain't nothing else to talk about, boy. You got to go. It ain't being no war hawk. Nah, your days is up. Teeny, Tiki, Meanie, Yafasa. God said your time has come and it's up, Maduro. Yeah. You get the people of Venezuela, give them a chance, man. God gave us a chance. All these countries across the world be crying. You don't think the Venezuelan people been crying for President Trump to come save them? Just like the Palestinians was crying. Just like the Jews was crying to President Trump to get the hostages out. Yes, the Jews was crying. Just like they all calling for President Trump to come save them. All of them are. So the Venezuelan people want to be saved too. Us as Americans, we so weak and selfish though. You know. It ain't our problem. It ain't our problem. That ain't our problem. Well, we worried about that though. That ain't our problem. It ain't our problem. So him selling drugs in your country ain't your problem. You can't say, I heard Tucker and them say, all the drugs, they come from Colombia. They come from, he naming every country for Venezuela, even though the woman family members get caught selling drugs in America. to make him put a 50 million. You know what President Biden, when President Biden with his DOJ, when they came in there, I'm talking about as far as Maduro, they could have argued on President Trump on $1 trillion points. This all y'all pundit Democrats who don't know what y'all talking about. President Biden's administration could have argued with President Trump on $1 trillion points. When they looked at Maduro's jacket, you know what they did with Maduro? With that bounty President Trump had on his head? You think President Biden and them said, oh, we gonna throw it away. We gonna put it all to the side. Nah, he tripping. Trump over here tripping. Just got picking on Maduro. It's just because of Rubio. He's just picking on Maduro. Just picking on Maduro. So you know that's what Joe Biden denied. That ain't what Joe Biden said. You know what Joe Biden, he didn't even say we're going to keep the bounty to see. You know what he said? Joe Biden them said we're going to up the bounty on him. He looked at what President Trump did. He said, oh, all you want is 10, 15 million. We're going to up this bounty. Let's double it bounty. President Trump, that's all you was trying to get is 10 million for him? What? Huh? Nah, we looked at what you did and we said we want to get 30 million on his head. Put 40 on his head. Joe Biden and them said they upped the bounty. If a Democrat come in there, this is a bipartisan issue. Maybe on the way President Trump is doing it, but a Democrat come in there, he gonna up the bounty on his head. Put 100 million on his head. Put 500 million. Yeah, it's just his time. God said his time is up. It's the hard way or the easy way. I asked the CIA how long they had to chase down Gaddafi. There were plenty of times they wanted to get him, they couldn't get him. During President Bush's whole term, Gaddafi was safe. He was over there playing that role. Gaddafi had killed like 200 some Americans. Real talk. He was bombing stuff and everything. Gaddafi was killing everybody. And then after 9/11, President Bush had came out and said, here's your chance. Either you going with the terrorists or you coming with us. You know what Gaddafi did? He was scared of President Bush. He know President Bush was the cowboy. That's one word you know in every language in America, in the world, I mean, and the Muslims know that word. For real, everybody know cowboy. They think the Africans, Libya, cowboy. They thought President Bush was a cowboy. So you know what Gaddafi did? He gonna go try to play like he wanted to be, you know what I'm saying? He terror-free now. He giving speeches that he against terrorism now. He done killed 200 and some Americans. CIA wanted to off that boy. They was trying to off him with Ronald Reagan. They was trying to get him. They was trying to killing Americans. They trying to off that boy. Yeah, we gonna come. That's what we do. We gonna come. You gonna do what to American? See, y'all do that Republican Democrat stuff. We ain't got time for that stuff. That's like little kids stuff. We ain't got time for that. You said you doing what to who? Americans? What? Where at? What? You did what? Oh, okay then. Yeah, go get that boy. They couldn't get him at first. So when President Bush came in, you know, President Bush, American interests changed. That's how America go when they join arms with the devil. This man, he just killed 1 million Americans. Now we join arms, locked arms with the devil. But the CIA, they don't play that. Yeah, you gonna lock arms with the devil until we get this president when he gone. And as soon as this president gone and we get Obama in here, we gonna come. Gaddafi, when Obama got in there, the CIA went back and said, "Hey, Gaddafi, you remember us?" Yeah, you got a debt to pay, my boy. You can't get around that debt. You remember us? Because we remember you good. And the blood, the soul, the blood, the souls, they cry out of the dirt at us. They don't understand that. The CIA, their officers, they don't understand that. They just, little nerds that Langley doing their job. Yeah, but ghosts understand the spiritual context of it. The blood of the slain crying out from among, and it's certain people, they could hear that. They don't know, but Ghost could hear it. I could hear they crying out. What? Oh, nah, boy, you got to pay for that. See, y'all do over there. President Trump, you know, he over there doing the Trump, man. You know what I'm saying? They all doing all this, but some of us, we just got that mind. It could be 3 years from now. You gonna pay for that, boy. You paying for that. You paying. See, if Ghost is on that level, you gonna pay for that. I could run with the CIA, boy. You paying for that. It'd be 15 years. We just gonna wait till this president get out there. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir, President Trump. Yes, sir, President Trump. And we knowing the whole time, looking at him like this, Maduro. President Biden came in there. He ain't gonna kill you. Okay, yes, sir, President Biden. Yes, sir, President Biden. Yes, sir, President Biden. Yes, what the CIA doing under President Biden. Yes, sir. And as soon as we get you out the way, hey, Maduro, you remember us? Yeah, boy. It's about that time. If y'all supporting the drug dealer, then go on down to Venezuela. Hey, if you support the drug dealer, go down to Venezuela, because I don't see how President Trump ain't got no cover on this. If you know, boy, you know. I don't see how it ain't no government in America. I don't see no government in the world who gonna prosecute President Trump over Venezuela now. Y'all could run campaigns saying that y'all would do something like that. But right after you win the campaign and you the president-elect, you know you gonna come, somebody gonna after you the senator-elect said you would go campaign and do that, you gonna get that tap on your toe. Y'all don't know about that. I ain't trying to talk too much. So I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't trying. See, I'm sorry, Central. I ain't trying to be telling y'all people's secrets and stuff. If I got the tap on the door, I'm finna be like, where my uniform at? That's what I'm gonna say. Where my uniform at? I've been waiting for y'all. I'm crazy, y'all. They start laughing. They already know that dude over there. He kind of off some. But we could use that for our good though, because we have a whole bunch of people who kind of off some. They need to be. Because Putin and them kind of off a lot. They not off some, they off a lot. China, they off a lot compared to our standards. When you say if you would run a plane into a building, or you would believe that you could kill yourself and get 77 versions, I'm saying it's some radical stuff out there, bro. It really is. And it's a bunch of people who hate America out there, bro. It really is. So I'm saying, like, this situation with Venezuela is just his time that came and then it went. Y'all, he could leave right now. He could leave right now. I'm sure President Trump and them ain't gonna stop him from leaving right now. I mean, if I was him, I would be petrified to leave. What he got sitting off his coast, I said a strike group. It's not just the aircraft carriers, a city by itself. He got a strike group. He got battleships. They ain't got nothing to do with the aircraft. They in formation. Y'all. You got the first boat. You got all the boats. They like in the V. You know how birds fly in formation, but these birds, they got. And they got planes and they got soldiers, and underneath down in the down at the bottom of the ocean, he got submarines with nuclear warheads on them. All in the name of that red, white, blue. Destroy the whole world at the click of a button. That's the power Maduro is. Maduro waking up at night, he looking out the window. Wait till he start finding them sorties over his country. That's what I'm saying. He could leave right now and live. President Trump ain't got to go at him. All he got to do is cause the chaos. If American bombs start dropping in Venezuela, that's Maduro's time. You could start going tick. He got oppositions and rebels. But I ain't even gonna say nothing like that because I don't work for them and they ain't told me nothing. I just know. I'm saying that I'm not aware of no classified information. Maria Machado, she from Venezuela. She's the Nobel Peace Prize winner. She's got an opposition group. She said they willing and ready to take over Venezuela show they fall. That's what she said. And she was in Miami not too long ago. I don't know. That's all I know. So I'm saying he ain't got to go bomb at Maduro, excuse me. He ain't got to bomb the presidential mansion or like trying to hit Maduro like he hitting Osama bin Laden, trying to catch him on. You know, when they traveling he trying to hit the caravan. He ain't got to be doing all that. All he got to do is go after straight drug targets. But I promise you, those F-35s are so petrifying, flying over your skies, dropping bombs, that you know what that's going to make you do? That's going to cause chaos and division. It's going to be straight chaos in Venezuela. His generals and his military leaders going to start defecting because they know they finna get wiped off the face of the map. And then she already, the CIA, they already been in Venezuela, y'all. Y'all know what they've been in Venezuela doing? That's what they do. They go a knocking. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to keep you safe. While you could go eat your cheeseburger and you could go badmouth the troops or America, or you could counter America's mission. While you doing all that, somebody still got to keep you safe. Got to keep your ugly self safe. Right? We got to keep y'all weak people safe. God, the few and the proud. Sacrifice for the whole. That's what that little National Guard, the 20-year-old did. That girl probably just trying to make some money, man. It's about to be Christmas time. Her governor said they could go to Washington, D.C. and they could work like a month, 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So she just worked part-time, but, she working full-time now. She making some good money. The Army probably paying good. President Trump and them probably paying good for that. So she working, trying to make some money and stuff like that. And what can I say, bro? You know what I'm saying? What can I say? It's so on Thanksgiving, too. That is so unfortunate. I'm saying Janine Pirro, y'all need to fry him. He needs to die. That's what I think. We're not for the the death penalty. What? Kill him by firing squad. You talking about a suit? I protect some. I'm the one suing the police. I'll sue the police. Yeah, that's something different. That's domestic. And I still be with domestic stuff, but you talking about like stuff like you did what? You went and killed who? I'ma just cause I'm mad at America after they didn't help me out, but they helped me out all the way in some kind of way. So now I'm mad at them. Maybe they didn't bring my family back. Who knows what the reason was? We gonna find out soon. But I'm mad at America now, so I'm gonna go grab my gun and then and just shoot some National Guard people. But I'm not thinking that this girl right here, she got a mama and a daddy too. That little 20-year-old, she got a sister and a brother too, a niece and a nephew too, an uncle and an aunt too. And they lose her on Thanksgiving while she's serving her country. You got to have a balance for that stuff. And you want the dude to live so we could continue to pay for him to live in the prison for 100 years after he killed the American soldiers. After we brought him over here, President Trump said you want to deport him. What you want to deport him for? What you want to deport him for? Because the only way I would deport him is if he was going to die. I wouldn't deport him. He had to stand trial for what he did here. And standing trial for what he did here, he would die here. What's up, man? Voltron? Yeah, all Democrats ain't bad. All Democrats ain't bad, man. It's just on that Venezuela stuff. It's some Republicans, too. You know those MAGA Republicans. Well, we don't want to be in no foreign wars. We don't want to be in no foreign wars. Hey, we don't want to be in no foreign wars. That's why President Trump been pushing peace all over the world. Hey, don't be trying to coin my phrase now. You know what I'm saying? Pushing peace. President Trump, he pushing peace all over the world. So we ain't trying to be involved in no foreign wars, but this ain't got nothing to do with none of that. This got something to do with his little nephews and them. Like, they was over here, they trying to make money off America. He running his presidential campaigns like we stupid. He's selling drugs to our people, releasing his people to set up criminal drug networks in our country. And he doing that off our dollar and our back and our dime like we stupid. So if we had a different kind of president, we would look stupid. So President Trump, you know what he gonna do? We gonna send Big Pete, wait, Big P head said that. You know what we gonna do? We gonna go ahead and send that aircraft, that big Ford off his doorstep. So when he wake up in the morning, he can almost see that thing for his presidential mansion. That aircraft carries so big, he can almost see that thing. Yeah, but you laughing, but in his heart, yeah, that fear, he could feel that thing out there. You ain't got to ask, is it still there? He knows it's still there. He could feel that thing out there. Come bring that big Ford class outside your door then, since you want to, you could play with Americans or America like that. You could just do some that's foul stuff. Imagine if you was my friend personally. That's how you got to look at it. And I came over there, I wouldn't leave your house. I'm selling drugs to your kids. I'm sleeping with your daughters and stuff. And I'm a 50-year-old man and you my friend and I'm sleeping with your 19-year-old daughters. I'm selling drugs to them and stuff, getting them high. I won't leave your house and stuff. Now I'm trying to holler at your wife. And you my neighbor. And the other neighbor saying, leave this neighbor alone, not ghostwriting. He doing what? I'm a justice person, though. I'm not a war hawk. I'm a justice person. Like a prosecutor. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about Letitia James, her political. Of course, that's probably a bad name to use. But I'm saying in this situation with President Trump, what I mean. But what I'm saying, somebody like that, they going to want that wrong dealt with. That wrong need to get dealt. Who going to deal with him? Send them up there to God. Let God judge and decide. If we wrong, God will let them get into heaven. If we wrong. But I doubt that very seriously. I know we ain't wrong. I'm not advocating killing them either, Maduro. He could leave today. His pride won't let him leave. Or that aircraft, he's scared one of them F-16s gonna chase him down. Or them F-35s, I'm sorry. F-16s were back when I was younger, y'all. Y'all could tell I've been loving the Air Force for a long time. I almost joined the Air Force. I should have. I was this close. They told me to go back and fix some paperwork. And me, with my attitude, I just said, flip on this. And the Army said, we're going to give you a $7,000 signing bonus. I said, what? I said, what? The Air Force, they didn't say they give me no signing bonus. I said, well, I went and did the ASVAB little thing. I feel a little smart. The little recruiters, they done boasted my head up. So, I'm down there. I'm in blues. I'm Air Force, but I'm finna join the Air Force. You know what I'm saying? They say, well, he would look at my record where he told me to go fix something. But I went to the Army. They was like, come on, boy. I said, oh, yeah, I knew I should have been a soldier. But they were like, come on, we give you $7,000. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't trying to be racing there. Just like where I'm from, like down where I'm from, I did my MEPS in New Orleans. It was a bunch of us kind of people was in the Army, like, you know what I'm saying? I just felt comfortable. A bunch of like all over America, bro. When I got to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, I had black people from Mississippi. A black dude from Natchez became my best friend from Mississippi, and he wasn't in my company he wasn't in my company, but I seen him every day. Like he was in my barracks. I kicked it with him, like my best friends. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Like the military, like. I miss them days, them moments, man. You know what I'm saying? If y'all haven't liked the video, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the note. Bro, it's been about 2.5 hours y'all been in here cooking. You know what I'm saying? I'll be out tomorrow, and then on Monday we'll be back in. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't talk so hard about that Venezuelan thing, though. But yeah, that's finna happen, though. That's why I made the story about. I had prepared a whole long monologue about it and everything. We'll do it next week. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just went ahead. Somebody brought it up. Like, yeah, that Venezuelan dude, he just need if all y'all Democrats who love him, if y'all got connections to him, just call him and tell him to leave. President Trump better not chase that dude down. Let him go, President Trump. Let him tell him, get somebody to send him a message and tell him to go to Russia. And then just go ahead and sit Miss Machado ahead Miss Machado ahead of the government. Or let him have a special election or something if he want to leave calmly. It ain't nobody trying to have no regime change. And don't tell me how America failed doing nothing 18 times before. This time America ain't going to fall doing nothing. We not going to have no regime change. We going to let them change their own regime. Mind your own business, cuz we going in there. He got to get up out of there. That's point blank period. And all y'all want to support them, take your little selves over to Venezuela. Just make sure you duck them F-35s because they on their way. Man, oh man, what it do. I know if y'all still up in here, y'all really rocking me. So let me get down here, Titan Brew. He say he live in Florida. He didn't shut down during COVID. COVID was nothing compared to martial law. Let's see. COVID's actually them trying to kill on our white blood cells. Man, I can't do that. Y'all, I can't do that, man. I give y'all a couple of more seconds to put something else down there, but I can't do no conspiracy thing. I don't do no conspiracies. You know what I'm saying? You gotta come with stats and dats and facts, datas and facts. That's what you gotta come with when you talking to ghostwriter. Because I'm a legal person. I can't take you in court and say that you did. If I could take you in court and say you did something and just get paid, then I'll be the richest person in the world. Because I could just do documents indiscriminately against whoever I wanted to. Because I could prepare the documents at will. So I can't just take you to court and just try to, you know what I'm saying, do nothing like that. You feel that? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta, with ghosts, I'm used to the way I deal, how we get down is you gotta have proof. You gotta have hard line, bottom line proof. You gotta have proof. And if you don't have no proof, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't come in here just telling me nothing about President Trump, nothing about like Jeffrey Epstein. I done went through all of it. I know everything. I know more than other people. I know stuff that people told me that, you know what I'm saying, privy to information that I can't even say nothing about. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you gotta have proof. You gotta have a hard line. That's just like, that's due process. That's like if I'm accusing you of something, President Trump try to accuse me of something, I'm gonna run it back on them. That's like President Trump, if I'm accusing you of doing something that y'all not doing. Or when the government accused you of doing something that you said you didn't do. And they trying to charge you without giving you a trial. Imagine President Trump if they just come scoop you, some masked men just come scoop you up and threw you in a van and just put you in jail. And never gave you a trial and you couldn't be president. You was just serving out your time in prison. Real talk. Like, you gotta have proof, man. I need the proof. You know what I'm saying? You give every man a fair trial. That's how you know, make sure everything is copacetic. You know? And I'm just saying, like, they gotta have proof. We got proof on the old Maduro in Venezuela. We got the proof on him. His nephews got arrested with the dope. Hey, that's all the proof we need. We got the proof on my boy. That boy been selling that cocaine. 2 for 1. That's what I'm saying. He could go over there on their side, and do that. Let him go and cheat. Let's see if Chi let him do that over there. I know Putin probably would. He might not. Putin might be hard against drug dealers. I don't know how he doing it. But that's on their side of the world. That ain't on our side of the world. Maduro, you over here on our side of the world. You making money. You done built the empire off of selling dope to Americans. Somehow, some way he affiliated. I don't care how y'all trying to say, oh, the drugs ain't coming from Venezuela. Tucker. Oh, the drugs ain't coming from Venezuela. But his family members then got arrested selling drugs in America by American law enforcement. Oh, but the drugs ain't coming from Venezuela. I mean, maybe, probably not. But I know that family right there, they making money off of selling drugs in America. And they probably some way, some form, somehow connected. But all them cartel, they just, them kind of people, they probably just don't understand how it work in the streets. You know what I'm saying? You selling dope. It ain't like they got a block. They selling dope in America. America ain't nothing in America ain't they block. If they doing it smart, he had people selling the drugs for him. He was just getting large quantities. Cause he got the connection. He from Venezuela. He the Venezuela president wife's son or niece or nephew or cousin or uncle. So he got the connection on that dope in Colombia. What Colombia at compared to Venezuela? You don't think the Venezuelan they ain't cool with the Colombians? They don't never meet or talk or nothing like that? You crazy. Especially the regular folk. He got the connection on all that cocaine. He going to America to get off on it. Yeah, the Venezuelan president making millions off of y'all snorting that coke. President Trump just said that's enough. Your time up, homeboy. Hey, y'all, that's my time up too, y'all. I'm finna get on down, man. I love y'all, man. This Saturday, man. Look, this month, well, it's not December yet. I'm about a day or two early, but I'll go ahead and tell y'all. December 24th, man, we got a new vlog coming. It's called Prince of Peace. So for all my Christians, man, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna like this one. Real talk, man. I'm gonna do it tight too. I'm gonna go like waterfall or something like that, something real nice. But like, I got one too, one real nice up right now. It's not a Christian vlog, but it's called Chasing Sunsets and Chasing Peace. You know what I'm saying? I'll be doing my vlogs like commercials, really. Kind of, I'll be promoting them like commercials, you know what I'm saying? But like, y'all go check that out, you know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all show me some love and show me some support. Let me know you was there. You know, other than that, man, I really appreciate y'all showing up tight and brew, man. You hanging out with your boy Big Ghost to the end, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all showing up. I appreciate the donations. You know what I'm saying? All the love, all my channel members. Channel memberships, they $2.99, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all want to show some love and support, we ain't got to be on a live stream. You could do it at any time. That being said, man, like I said, I am a born-again Christian, man. I believe Jesus came to this earth. He suffered, he bled, and he died on the cross to save you from sin and to save me from sin. I believe that the blood that Jesus shed on the cross pays for all of our sins. And all you have to do is pray that prayer. Yes, that's all you have to do to receive Jesus. Is ask him to forgive you, to believe that he died for you and to accept his death as payment for your sins, because that's what it was. And you pray that prayer and you believe that with your heart. Well, how did the thief on the cross get to heaven? Because I hear people say, oh, all you got to do is pray a prayer. I had a family member told me that, how did the thief on the cross get to heaven then? Because God's not like a man. He going to do, if he do a thing, the law is the law with God. If he say thou shalt not steal, that's what he mean. It ain't, you talking about God. You ain't talking about our mama and daddy. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying if God say like do or don't do, then we got to obey. Thief on the cross, Jesus asked him. He said, I believe. Jesus told him he'll be with me today in paradise, not tomorrow. He said today in paradise. So thou just believe. The Bible full of scriptures talking about the faith, the faith, your faith, my faith that made me whole, man. You just believe. That's all you need to do is believe. But you got to ask for forgiveness too, though. That's why the prayer is necessary. You can't just unite to God or connect or plug in or you got to ask for forgiveness. If thou shalt confess with thy mouth, that's what that means. If any man shall call, that's what all of that means together is saying that's what you're doing right here. Lord Jesus, I come to you today realizing that I'm a filthy, hell-bound, good-for-nothing sinner. Lord Jesus, I know I prayed this prayer before. Lord, I'm sorry. Forgive me, Lord. Lord, I believe that you suffered, bled, and died on the cross for my sins, and that the blood that you shed on the cross is the payment for my sins, Lord. Father, I believe that you are forgiving me for my sins, and I believe that you saved my soul from hell, Father. I put my trust and my faith in you, Lord. Lead me and guide me, Lord. Love me. Never let me go, Father. Lord, I love you and I thank you for dying for me and forgiving me, Lord, and for saving me. I pray and I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Bro, I promise you, if you pray that prayer and you mean that with your heart, because that's very important with God. You got to be sincere. You got to mean it. He's going to know you meant it or not meant it. You pray that prayer and you mean that with your heart. You got to have enough understanding now. You don't have to have a full understanding, but enough understanding, and that's salvation. If you meant it, and you really sorry for your sins, like how a lot of people, I'm sorry for lying to people. Or how I yell at people, I'm sorry for yelling at people. So you sorry for what you doing, and you really meant it, and you prayed that and really meant it, then God then forgive you. You already forgiven. Before he created you, he knew you was forgiven. You got to come to that realization. So this is you coming to that realization. And you asking him to forgive you of your sins and save your soul. He faithful. He going to save you. Now, if you serious, once you get saved, you're not going to want to go out there and do what you used to do. Why would I? Why would I want to have sex with 4 girls in a day like I used to when I already asked God to forgive me of that? If I go out there trying to have sex with 4 girls in a day, then I didn't really ask for forgiveness. When you ask for forgiveness or something, that's what you mean. You through with it. You tired of it. You sick of it. That's why you have to be sincere and serious when you praying. It just seemed easy. All I got to do is pray a prayer. That is true. All you got to do is pray a prayer. But you got to be able to come to a place in your heart and in your life and in your mind that allows you to be sincere and serious and really be sorry. I'm sorry for slapping these people in the upside the head, Lord. I'm really sorry. I know I'm not trying to make a joke, but whatever, I'm not trying to call you on your sin either. You know what I'm saying? So whatever your sin is, like, you really sorry, truly sorry. If you was truly sorry, once you pray that prayer, it's going to show. Because your actions going to change. You're going to start caring about God. You're going to want to live and be with God. You're going to want to go to church and be around God's people. You don't have to go to church to go to heaven. Really, with God, there's not too much anything that you have to do, but you have to ask for forgiveness. And you have to accept Jesus as your Savior. And since you aren't the thief on the cross, and you will continue to live past today or tomorrow, you have to live the way Jesus lived or dedicate your life to him. You don't have to be perfect. He's not asking you to be perfect, but you have to try, and you have to strive for perfection. You see what I'm saying? It's a balance. It's a fine balance. But in order for you to go to heaven or get to any kind of place, you got to pray that prayer. One prayer, one time, one prayer, one time. Oh, no, when I was 5 years old, I remember that time I prayed to God. Nah, none of that. It need to be something sincere. I almost remember the shorts I had. I know I remember where I was. I know I remember that. I remember what made me go to pray that prayer in August 18. I had opened up the Bible and reading the scripture. I remember everything vividly, because that's why I know when I was communicating with God with this prayer, I'm trying to miss hellfire with this prayer. This serious business. I ain't just praying this prayer to get out of jail. I ain't praying this prayer because somebody finna kill me. See, it become tricky because you got to convince yourself that Jesus saved you. That's part of it. That's what faith is, having faith. You got to believe. How do you believe something? You got to convince yourself that he responded to what you said. If Adolf Hitler probably would never think to ask Jesus to save him because he don't think that Jesus will. It's like it balances itself out. You see what I'm saying? Adolf Hitler, he deemed himself unworthy. His conscience, that's a part of God too, that's inside of you. He know that he ain't good enough to go to heaven, so he probably ain't gonna even ask God to save him. He ain't gonna play no game like that. Not Adolf Hitler. He just gonna die. Knowing he finna go to hell, accepted it. He probably been accepted. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, that I like to be clear about salvation, man, because we could believe or talk or think or a lot of different things, but that's how I believe you go to heaven. It's by accepting and asking Jesus. I can't see no other way that you could go to heaven. Nothing else make no sense. I done read the Quran. I didn't read it, but I read passages and stuff people wrote out of it. I understand what the meaning and the gist of it. I understand Sunnis and Shiites and their arguments. I understand the religion and Judaism too. A lot of that you can learn Judaism from the Bible because most of the Old Testament got Judaism in it. I'm saying, well, I even know about Buddhists and Hindus. Hare Krishna. Nah, I'm just playing, but I'm serious though. I know about a lot of religions. I've been to a lot of churches, a bunch of different Christian sets. And I'm saying Presbyterian, Lutheran, Catholic, Seventh-day Adventist, none of that matters. Baptist, Southern Baptist, First Baptist, it's just division. None of that matters. What the scripture say, what Jesus said. He said, he that cometh in my name. What Jesus said, I don't know though. Some people think they know better than what the scripture said was God. Now, they know the scriptures really well, just like I do. But they think they know better than what the scriptures say. The scriptures say, God said, he that cometh in my name, what God said to do, what God said to say. But today they'll say you have these people, they saying, oh, these people lost, they not saved. These people not saved. These people not saved. Oh, he not saved because he listening to Tupac music. I mean, God tell you not to judge either. So, I mean, I don't know, man. You know, I'm not perfect either. I got my problems too while I'm talking. That's just the way it go until we can meet God or see God or Jesus or something like that. Until that happen, I mean, all of us are not perfect. So all the situations you get in or deal with are going to be imperfect situations, imperfect. Because we all imperfect people in an imperfect world. Real talk. But as long as you got Jesus when you die, who knows what happens on the other side, man? Who knows? All I know is, though, I believe that whenever you close your eyes, I mean, I've closed my eyes before and felt like I was alive. You couldn't tell me in the moment I was having that dream. Some of these dreams been vivid. They've been colored. Y'all know you done had that dream, boy. You felt you. I'm saying, that moment that you existed in that time, it's like, the smartest people in the world, your soul and your spirit can exist without a body. You just might not believe that or understand that. That's how you could be completely detached from this world and you could still be alive or exist in a different. It'll come to you, man. It's just you gonna have to either believe Jesus and believe God and believe the Bible or you not. You gonna have to believe that we would come from some monkeys or that we were created by God in the image of God. It's a choice. You choose to believe whatever you want to choose to believe. But for Gregory Darnell Dixon, I choose to believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of the blood of Jesus Christ. That's what I choose. Not as a fanatical religious person trying to push God on you or trying to push you to believe or think or whatever you want to think or believe. All I'm going to do is what I'm supposed to do, and that's what I just did. Just speak the truth. I'm going to love you. If you a Muslim, I'll still hang with you. If you a Hindu, I'll still hang with you. If you a fornicating person saying that you a Christian, you know what I'm saying? You might be a fornicator, but saying you're a Christian, if you are, I'll still hang with you, man. I ain't judgmental. I ain't judging you, man. You know what I'm saying? But all I could tell you is what I believe. me personally, what I believe in Jesus and the blood of Jesus, man. I love y'all, man. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. It's a beautiful day today out here in NYC, baby. You feel me? It's beautiful day, but some days the sun not shining my eyes out. You know, some days, especially out here, my thermometer say it's 33 degrees. It don't feel like no 33 degrees. And if it is 33 degrees, how bright that sun shining at 9 o'clock a.m., it ain't gonna be 33 degrees for long. But you know what I'm saying? If the sun was shining, bro, and when it's raining, snowing, whatever, man, I'ma just praise God and keep it pushing. I'm a fighter. I'm gonna keep on slugging, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my time, man. I love y'all, man. I popped in on Saturday. I gave y'all almost 3 hours, you know what I'm saying? Delivered the content. I appreciate the donation, the gifts, and everything like that, man. And I'm going to catch y'all Monday, Lord willing, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. Set your alarm. I don't care if you got to go to work. Go to work with your boy, Big Ghost Rider. Come ride with Big Ghost Rider. Y'all have a happy weekend.